Hi guys, welcome to another tutorial of this MetaHuman series, and today we are going to figure out how to add custom hairstyles to our MetaHumans. Let's dive in. So alright, we are going to do this from scratch. I am inside Unreal Engine and I am inside my content browser. I've created a fresh folder inside my MetaHumans folder as hair toot, and I'm going to right click, go to MetaHuman character, name it as hair toot, and I'm going to double click on it. So I'm just going to go into the materials tab. I'd rather go into the presets and I'll choose Orlando. So now I'm going to go into the hair and clothing section, and I'm going to quickly scroll down to the hairstyle that he has. It's a short swept up hairstyle. I'm just going to double click on it and remove it. Now I can just left click and move it around. He has no hair whatsoever. So I'm just going to click on my MetaHuman character and click on export face skeletal mesh. And now I'm going to go into my content drawer and see that it has exported a skeletal mesh. I'm just going to double click on this, go inside the skeletal mesh editor and click on make static mesh, select the same folder and just click save. So it has given me a static mesh. I can name it as hair static just for convenience, and I'm gonna save everything and I'm just gonna export this static mesh. I'm just gonna right click on it, go to asset actions, click export. It's gonna give me a folder and I'm just going to save it. Just make sure that you don't export any off targets or animations as they are not needed. Everything else is fine. Just gonna click on export, and that is that. Now let's jump into Blender. I'll open Blender. I'll go to file, import FBX, and as you can see, here's my mesh. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna select it. I'm just gonna go into edit mode, long click my left mouse button on the selection tool and select lasso. I'll just make sure that my X-ray is on right here, and I'm just going to make a selection. It doesn't have to be perfect. What I'm trying to do is that I'm trying to make a separate mesh so that Blender is not confused while adding my hair curves. So you'll see that in a second. So I'll just go around the scalp, make some sort of a sideburn, go around the ears slowly and just come back around the head, just like this. I can middle mouse click and just move it around to see that I have a proper selection. I can always press Alt for my orthographic views. If I want my selection to be closer to the ears and or maybe further away, I can always press Ctrl plus minus to adjust my selection. Once I'm happy with it, and I'm just going to press P. It's going to give me a separate option. I'm going to select selection. And as soon as I've done that, now if I just click out the I button here, I can see that I've separated my two meshes. And now just to give it a separate color so that I know what my scalp looks like, I'm just going to go back into object mode for a second, turn off X-ray mode here, go into my hair. This is my scalp mesh. I'm just going to press F2 here and rename it as scalp for the sake of convenience so that I know that I'm selecting the correct meshes. Once I've done this, I'm just going to go back into my rest of the mesh here, and I'm just going to go here into the materials tab and just press the minus button. I've deleted everything and from the rest of the head, and you can see that I have some sort of a scalp going on here. So it's fairly simple from here. I'm going to select my scalp again, go into add, curve, and I'm going to select empty hair. So now you'll see that it has added some curves to my scalp mesh. I'm just going to rename these curves as test hairstyle. You can rename it as whatever you like. You can press F2 to rename it quickly. And once I've done it, I'm just going to go into sculpt mode. I'm seeing that I have these different kinds of hair tools to play with, and also I'm just going to go here, just click and go to the asset browser. I'm just going to bring this up a little. I'm going to select hair. So this is what I need to make my hair. So now it's fairly simple from this part on. I'm just going to click on the plus button. I'm just going to make sure I use this option, use sculpt collision, and I make sure that this is checked so that my hair does not run inside my mesh and go through it, and it maintains a proper binding so that it looks right. Now I'm just going to click on this small arrow here, and this is my toolbar, and I'm just going to click on tool and I'm gonna have the hairbrush tool, add hair. So basically I'm adding some guide curves. We just have to give Blender a sense of direction that, okay, this is how my hair is gonna flow. And based on that, it calculates further. You'll see that in a second. So I'm planning on giving my character a longish hairstyle that's just going to one side. Like it's very different, long sort of a haircut. And I'm only using a simple hairstyle because hair can get pretty complex pretty soon depending on the kind of hairstyle that you're looking at. So I'm going to do a simple hairstyle, but I'll make sure that I'm covering all the points, and these are the very points that you need to move ahead. So this is the radius of the brush. I can adjust it as I like. This is the number of curves that it'll add in each click. 1 means just one curve and 20 means 20. I'm using 20. I'm looking for a dense hairstyle, and the length is 16 meter. You'll see how long a 16 meter is, and number of points inside a curve is 20. You can leave that at default, it's around 16. And now I'm just gonna click on my mesh and you'll see that it's adding hair. These are like longish curves. So if I maybe reduce my length to say 7 and just add curves here, you'll see that these are smaller. So this will give you a sense of the length of hair that you're looking for. I'm doing a longish sort of a hairstyle, like it's pretty wacky, so I'm going with 16. And also if you're looking for a middle parting or something that involves symmetry, you can always activate symmetry along one of the axes. So in this case, we usually use x-axis. So if I'm putting a curve here, it's going to put symmetric curves on both sides of the scalp. So in my case, again, since we are doing something wacky, so I'm not using symmetry, so I'm just gonna go ahead with this. So, and obviously if you want your hair to be denser, so make sure the radius is smaller if you're using like a higher count. I'm just gonna add some hair. I'm just free clicking this mesh. And since we separated the head mesh, the scalp mesh from the rest of the head, so we see that the curves adhere to the scalp mesh because that is the mesh. We have the curves inside. And I'm just gonna, I think this looks fine. Now the most popular tool here is the comb tool. I'm gonna select the comb. I'm gonna bump up my radius to say like 110 because this larger radius kind of helps the comb tool to style our hair a lot quicker. And if you just reduce the radius and reduce the strength, then you can make micro changes. But for macro changes, this is the way to go. So I'm just gonna quickly left click and just as I comb in real life, I'm just gonna comb my hair one side as I like. Also make sure that you don't comb the hair down way, like you don't press it too much inside the scalp, as you're seeing that the guides start going inside the head mesh and this will cause problems later on. So just make sure that whenever you comb, you just try to comb the hair a little away from maybe just going a little up from the head. I'm just gonna correct this. Yeah, so this is my hairstyle. You don't need to put a lot of guide frames because these can get really expensive on the CPU or your GPU, and you just need to get a sense of where your hairstyle is going with these guide frames, and Blender will do the rest. So if I am happy with this, obviously you would be asking why I'm not putting hair at the back. I'll tell you in a bit. We just have to add another curve and do the section separately because hair is always best done in sections, but this can stand alone as a hairstyle in itself. So I'm just doing one section just for the purposes of demonstration. So once I've done this and it looks funky enough to me and I'm okay with this, and now I'm just going to use my usual suspects when it comes to hair modifiers. Blender gives us an option to use modifiers and modify the guide curves a certain way. So these are the different kinds of modifiers that we have. Also, these are the different kinds of brushes that we have. You can play around with these brushes and check them out for yourself. They are best used to style your guides first. Once you're happy with how your guides are styled, then you move on to the modifiers. So I'm just going to make sure that I'm here in my modifiers tab. So the first modifier that we usually add, the interpolate hair curve, I'm just going to drag and drop this on my character and it's going to show up here in my modifiers tab. And I just have to make sure that my surface is selected as the hair scalp. Obviously this looks really weird right now, so I just have to increase my distance to guides and get it to a point where I feel that my density and everything is just right. And this is how my hair looks right now. I can also comb on top of this if I like, but before that I'm just gonna add a couple more modifiers. So I'm happy with my interpolate. The density is at 10. I'm gonna leave it there by default. I'm just gonna use clump hair curves because hair has a tendency to clump around itself and in groups. So I'm just going to increase the guide distance here and I'm just going to bring the factor down a little bit. 1 means like too much clumps, so I'm just gonna bring it back, like do it like this a little. It's all about subtle changes. So I'm happy with my clumps. And the last one is frizz hair curves. I'm gonna add a little bit of natural frizz. You can always add smoothing, you can trim hair, you can duplicate them, you can add curls. There are quite a few modifiers here that you can play around with, but for the sake of this tutorial, I'm just gonna add frizz hair curves. I'm just gonna drag and drop this on top, and again I'm just gonna play around with the factor a bit and my distance, just to make sure I have like a natural frizz in the hair. And now when I look at this, it looks fine to me. And if I want to style it further, I can always go back to my comb. I still have my comb selected. I'm just gonna maybe reduce the radius. Just try to comb my hair. And all the modifiers are also gonna stay in place like this. And I think this looks fine for the sake of demonstration. And once I'm happy with my hair, I'm just gonna apply all my modifiers. So I'm just gonna click on this drop down here, click apply. So once I've applied all my modifiers, I'm just going to go back into object mode, and with the hair curve selected, I'm just going to go into object, and I'm going to look for an option called convert. It's right here, and I'm going to select particle system. Now I'm going to go into my particle properties. I'm going to select my scalp, and I'm going to select particles here in the inspector tab. This is the particles tab, and here I'm just going to go into my render tab and just uncheck show emitter, increase the number of these p-spline steps, say to 7. And this varies with different hairstyles. This can also not work perfectly for a different kind of a hairstyle that you're doing, so it's nice to be a little conservative with these numbers and use them sparingly and see what it's doing to your actual export. So once this is done, I'm going to go into viewport display. Again, I'm just going to uncheck show emitter, and I'm going to increase my strand steps to, again, say 7. And once this is done, I'm just going to keep my scalp selected. I'm going to click on file, and I'm going to click on export, and I'm going to export an alembic file .abc. So I'm going to click on it, and here it'll give me an export window. So I just have to make sure that I set my scale from 1 to 100. I check selection only and visible only. My frame start is at 1. My frame end should also be at 1. So I'm just going to change it to 1. And then from settings here at render, I'm just going to change it to viewport. And in the geometry tab, I'm just going to uncheck all these checkboxes, and particle systems, export hair, export particles. So just make sure that your settings match mine. Scale should be at 100, include selection, include visible. Frame start, frame end is at 1. All of this is fine. All of this is fine. Settings should be viewport and not render. Uncheck all of these things. Particle systems should be selected. Export here, export particles. I'm gonna just select my folder where I'm throwing this, and I'm gonna name it as hairstyle toot.abc, and I'm gonna export alembic. And this is Blender. Now I'm gonna jump back inside Unreal Engine. I'm back inside my content browser. I'm just gonna right click on import to current folder, and I'm gonna select my hairstyle. And it's gonna give me a groom import option. And I'm gonna make sure that my rotation is set to -90 on the x-axis. It's set to -180 on the z-axis, and my scale is set to -1. So once all of this is done, I'm going to click on import, because Blender and Unreal Engine work on different unit systems. So during alembic exports, this is the kind of correction that we have to do. There are add-ons for Blender like the groom exporter, which solves this internally while exporting. But if we are just doing this as bare bones, so these are the corrections that we need to make at the time of importing an alembic inside of Unreal Engine. So I'm going to click import, and it's going to throw a hairstyle for me. I'm just going to double click on this, go into my grooms panel. So my hairstyle kind of looks scanty, but it will just make it okay in a second. So now I am inside my groom tab, groom editor, so to say. First of all, I'm just going to go inside material, and I'm going to add the material slot, click the plus button, and look for mi_hair. This is the default hair material that Unreal Engine uses. So I'm going to select this. I'm also going to name the slot as mi_hair. I'm going to go back to my strands tab. I'm going to go into the materials tab and select my mi_hair. And in the interpolation, everything looks fine here. I can maybe reduce the curve decimation, but I'm going to leave these things at the default values. I'm going to go back into strands, and I'm going to set my hair root scale to say maybe 2. Just give my crown a bit of heft. and I'm gonna set my hair tip scale to maybe say 0.5 and give it this kind of realistic vibe. And then I'm gonna go into my physics tab and I'm just gonna enable these Niagara simulation and deformer simulation. And if I really want my hair to feel like they're gelled up and they're just kind of going up, I can always reduce this gravity factor here for the external forces so that the gravity is not acting as much on my hairstyle. But I'm okay with this. So all of these things look fine to me now. So when we come inside the groom tab, first thing is we go into the materials tab, we select am I here, then we go into the strands tab, we assign that material, we give it a root scale, we give it a tip scale, leave everything as is. In the interpolation also, there's not much that needs to be done right now. And then finally we go into the physics, we enable the deformer and the Niagara, and there's a gravity factor here if we want to play around with it. Once all of this is done, we click on save, go back into our content browser. We right click on this hair asset, the groom asset, and we click on create binding. Target skeletal mesh is hair tooth exported face. So skeletal mesh is also a hair tooth exported face. And I'm just going to save this. I'm back inside my MetaHuman characters editor window, and here I'm just going to drag and drop this groom asset, this groom binding inside this hair tab, the hair selection panel, and you'll see it will show up here. So one very important thing to note is that we follow this MetaHuman character editor step when we haven't assembled our MetaHuman. This is before rigging. So we have to make sure that this is at the conceptualization stage where we haven't rigged, we haven't put it in the level. So this is exactly where before even assembly, we can just check our hairstyle. So I'm just going to double click on this and boom. It's pretty similar to what I had in Blender. Obviously, Unreal solves hair interpolation a little differently than Blender, so there could be slight differences, but you get the drift. And voila, you see that the hair has been nicely transferred to my MetaHuman. You can also try adding another separate curve, just as we did. For this one curve, you can add multiple curves to the same scalp mesh inside of Blender and create your hair in sections, especially like these side bits, the bits at the back, again the bits around here. So if you section your hair in different parts, it always gives you better control and better looking hair. Also, there's one more variation because this is before the assembly, like while we are assembling the MetaHuman. It is at a conceptual level, but if we would have maybe that, okay, I've already assembled my MetaHuman and I want to change my hairstyle, then it is the same process. Even after rigging or assembling the MetaHuman, I could still come back to this MetaHuman character, export my face skeletal mesh. And once I've done all the Blender round tripping and brought my grooms in, the groom binding asset is created the same way, but the only step that would change in this case would be if I just go to my MetaHuman's blueprint. I'm gonna go select the hair bit, and inside the hair tab, this is the groom asset. This is the one that we import from Blender. This is the binding asset, the groom binding asset, which is the one we just created by assigning the face skeletal mesh. And once we assign these two things, the hairstyle would look nicely here. I'm not doing this here because this would really break up my MetaHuman in a very funny way. I'm just going to show it to you for the sake of demonstration, that if I select my hairstyle and I'm going to select my binding asset, hairstyle, go back, yeah, it'll show thing to me nicely from a distance. It has kind of applied the hairstyle to this MetaHuman as well, but it's not right. It's just showing you a preview. If I go closer, it's just gonna cull in like weird ways because obviously it's not the correct skeletal mesh. So that's it. Alright, so that brings us to the end of the tutorial. I hope you had fun. If you've been following this series up till now, so you would be pretty adept at setting up your MetaHumans, getting them custom clothing, and now you can get them custom hair. The next logical and the natural step is to make them move and make them do things now. So in the next tutorial, we'll see how to animate these MetaHumans inside the sequencer and bring them to life. And thank you so much for watching this video. Please like, share, subscribe, and let us know how we can improve ourselves. For more such content and more such interesting stuff, please subscribe to Basement Co. Thank you.